Okay, just to get started, one roster note, as you know, we activated Ryan Kelly off of the COVID list, so he'll be out there today. He'll be limited today. Talked to him today. He's feeling good, but we'll probably still just be limited today and then take it day to day. And then also, you saw the news, put Zaire Franklin on the COVID list.
So no other COVID issues outside of that right now?
No. We are aware that cases seem to be up. We talked about it today as a team for a second. Really, with cases up, we have been on this thing from day one, and so I really don't feel like we're doing anything different other than continually reminding guys, follow the protocols, do what you can, stay focused. It's a virus. You can't control it. You know what I mean? Just do the right thing and keep doing what we're doing.
Was that years on him coming back into the facility, so you didn't have to worry about close contacts as much?
That's right.
Is that just conditioning-wise, you don't want to full throttle it?
Yeah, exactly.
Frank, this week, a couple of guys, especially as you mentioned, talked about stopping the run. We know that it's something you guys have focused on for a long time, but up front on both sides of the ball, will that be something you push this week that it might not be as high scoring of a game as we're used to? We're going to have to win this up front and possibly win ugly.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at, Zach. Certainly on paper that is true. You got two teams that want to run the ball, that run it well. But I think you got two teams that are committed to, doing whatever it takes to win. And they're averaging 31 points a game over the last 9 games. We've been averaging a fair amount of points. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. You might anticipate with two running teams and two good defensive teams that be low scoring. I'm excited. I'm excited for the game. You just never know. I think that's one of the things that makes this so exciting for fans and for us as well. I just know that in all 3 phases, what we're focused on is really execution. In the run game, pass game, special teams, all 3 phases, execution. We're going up against a team that doesn't make many self-inflicted errors. We feel like we try to be that same way. So at the end of the day, I think that's what it'll come down to.
I think there was a lot of debate on Mac Jones when he came out. Obviously played with a great offense. You guys had Carson, but what was your evaluation when he came out of college?
Yeah, didn't do him super close, but watched him because I always watch all the quarterbacks. Thought highly of him. Very accurate passer. He seemed to have really good touch. Arm strength seemed above average, and could get the ball all over the field. And then just watching a couple interviews with him, you could tell he kind of got football and had good football smarts.
Frank, you just mentioned doing whatever you need to do to win. There is sort of sentiment out there like you're a running team, whatever that means, but you obviously throw the ball a fair amount too. When you look at it with your philosophy, how do you view it? Because there's a lot of sentiment out there that running the ball is not the way to go. You've heard these things. Just how do you sort of square all that in your head, and does it even matter to you?
Yeah, no, it does matter. What matters to me is that, our DNA, our identity from day one when I got here from the last place I was at was we're going to run the football. That's what I believe offensively as a team you have to be able to do to win consistently in this league. I'm not saying there's not ever roster dynamics that could make it otherwise, but the idea coming in was we got to we want to be able to run the football. I came here from a team that was number 3 or 4 in rushing. I played on teams that were 1, 2, 3, 4. I know what it feels like to be on a team that can run the football. I've experienced that my whole life as a quarterback and as a coach. It's a powerful thing to be able to run the ball. It doesn't necessarily mean 50 times or 200 yards. It just means you can run the ball when you want to run the ball, and you can run it effectively. We also like to be able to throw the ball and create chunks and keep teams off balance. And so I really think if you want to be a truly dynamic offense, which we want to be, you have to be able to execute in both areas. And we're always striving that, but for us, we always say the foundation of that is the run game.
The makeup of that Buffalo team was really unique, right?
Yeah.
How has that shaped you specifically? Because you guys threw the ball an incredible amount,
yeah,
and for a lot of yards. But then you have Thurman I know there's only one of those guys, but just how much did that shape you from the beginning?
A lot. It really shaped me a lot. And what else shaped me a lot was the relationship I had with our offensive line coach, Tom Bresnahan. You know, when I was playing for the Bills, I learned so much about the run game from him, and you know, just belief and philosophy about it. And like you said, Stephen, in those days, in that no-huddle K-gun offense, everybody thought and it was a pass-first offense, kinda. But as it morphed and as it grew, it became very balanced, and the stats would bear that out.
Frank, we talk to players before big games, and the answers are all over the place. Some will say, just another game, doesn't care who we're playing. Some, like Darius, will be like, we're going against the best, I love the challenge. As a coach, where you fall in line and how do you balance that? I mean, at some part, you got to love the challenge, right?
There's no doubt. It is exciting. You know, it is, love the challenge, love the fact that we're going up against this team. You know, we know it's a tough test. And I think it's exactly what you just said, Zach. It's both and. You know, it is, at one hand, hey, this is just the next game, but you also know it's the New England Patriots. It's the #1 seed in the AFC. And it's an opportunity, but what it really is for us, it's an opportunity to prove that we're for real, to prove that we belong here, where we're at. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to.
You're an offensive coach, Bill Belichick's a defensive coach. You faced him in the past or previous stops. What is it like preparing an offense to face a Bill Belichick defense?
I mean, you know, he's the best ever. This is the #1 defense. It's a great challenge. You know, they're very well coached. They're physical. They're disciplined. They got playmakers on defense. They turn the ball over. You know, you have to be, you know, on offense, we have to be, you know, patient. We have to be opportunistic. You know, and we just have to execute. You know, we have to execute. And so it's a great challenge to go up against, you know, a defense that's coached by him. And and just know at the end of the day that it really is all of us doing it together. But, you know, we know we're going up against the best defense in the NFL, really.
Does it feel almost like a throwback, the way that they play defense with their big fronts and the way that they use their line?
Yeah, there's not a lot of people that play defense like they do, you know, up front. That's fun. You know, it's challenging. You have to be willing to consider what are you going to do to adapt the way that they're going to play you. That's a big philosophical question that you have to ask at the beginning of the week. And to what extent are you willing to change certain things? And like most times, we're going to change some, but we're not going to change everything. You know, we're going to mix it up. We're going to do whatever it takes. We believe we have the players that can do that and can compete on all levels. So that's the give and take during the week.
I know this isn't top of mind, but Mike Strong's the guy we saw selling camp early in the year. He dressed a little bit for you guys. We haven't seen him a lot lately. How has his rookie season been?
Yeah, it's been good. He's continued to do a good job on the scout team, and you know, in drills and working hard and very high on Mike. And you know, things have been going pretty well at that position for us. But he's, you know, we have confidence in him. If for some reason somebody got dinged and we needed Mike to be ready to go, I have confidence that he'd be willing to be able to play winning football.
Is it a special teams thing that's holding him back?
That's part of it. You know, that's part of it. I mean, we need that 4 and 5 receiver to be to contribute significantly to teams, ideally.
Frank, is there any plans to designate Hot Rod to return, or
Who?
Hot Rod?
Oh, still haven't had that discussion. You know, still have not had that discussion. You know, not like we said, we're not going to, you know, overreact to you know, anything. So we're still take it week to week.